With the new OP07 release in English, I thought this would be a good opportunity to share my deck list for my current OP08 version of Rob Lucci. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Piece TCG. We're back with another deck profile today. Once again, Rob Lucci. This is the current deck that I'm running. If you guys want to see a current OP07 meta thing, it's been out in Japan for a while already, so you can go ahead and search up a quick one there. But this is what I've been running. We'll talk about the game plan. We'll go over the utility, the attackers, the blockers, the 2K, and the events. So before we get started, let's talk about the game plan of this particular leader. So in this leader, it's all about pretty much how Sakazuki is played. It's the same thing that Rob Lucci has been played since OP07, except there is a little bit more consistency with some removal, just some tiny upgrades. It hasn't really changed all that much from my OP7 build. So let's get started talking about the leader, and if you guys are interested, please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel. If you guys want to print out your own proxies, there's a link in the description below. So Rob Lucci, mono black leader. We'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Woo, okay. So mono black leader, 5,005 life CP. When attacking, trash the top 2 cards of every deck. Now at first, if you're not really familiar with One Piece, you might think that this is a really bad effect. However, this is so good. There is barely a requirement to do this. When attacking is so good, and basically you want cards in your discard to activate a lot of abilities, so this is an amazing cost. Give up to one of your opponent's negative costs for this turn, so it doesn't really increase your attack at all, but it is really good in general. So that's the leader. Let's go ahead. The whole deck is going to be primarily like really staple black cards, as well as maybe like 30% CP cards. So let's start with the utility cards first. We'll start with Spandam. This guy came out in OP03. This is the alternate version. 1, 2, 1 on play. If your leader has CP, which it does, look at 3 cards from the top, reveal 1 CP, then you trash the rest, which is once again what you want to do with this deck. Finding cards you need, trashing things. This is such a great card. Absolutely run 4 of these. All right. The next utility cards here, and I mean utility means they're not primarily used for attacking, but it can, you know, if you need to. So this is Helmeppo from ST06, 2, 3, 1. On play, give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 to their cost during this turn. The -3 is really good because you can combo a lot of stuff very cheap. It's also a 2 cost, so you can go ahead and revive it with a bunch of other cards in here, and it's a 1K counter, which is great. I'm not using any Hinas in this deck, which would be a 3 cost 5/0, and it goes down by 4. Basically, it really depends on what you want. And Helmeppo, I believe it's a little bit better. You don't really need to KO that much of a high cost. I'd rather have the 1K counter and being able to revive it much more easily. So we're only running 2 of these. Next up for utility, we're running some NES lobbies. This is a 2 cost. Activate main. You may rest this stage. If your leader is CP, up to one of your opponent's characters gains -2 during this turn. This is an amazing effect. You want to see this every single game if you can, so always look around for it. Unfortunately, it's not a searchable card as of today. It's not CP or anything. However, there is a trigger if you kind of get lucky. So we're running multiple copies of these, and you might be thinking, wow, there's too many, right? Maybe 2. Some people even run 4. But the reason being is you have ways to discard stuff you don't need in this deck, and you just need more consistency with this because this is really one of your most important cards in the deck. Alright, and finally for the last utility card, we have 1 copy of Spandine. It's a CP card, so searchable. 3, 2, 1 on play. You may return 3 cards with CP in its type from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Then play up to 1 4 or lower character with CP in your trash from your trash rested. So this is solely in the deck to primarily get the 4 cost Rob Lucci out. There's 4 Rob Luccis out, but if you happen to, you know, get them all KO'd, maybe they all got trashed, this is an extra card that will help you do that. So it's another activation for Rob Lucci. So those are all of the utility cards. Okay, let's move on to the attackers. This is going to be the bulk of your game plan, helping you win. So we have a bunch of Brooks here. This is obviously not a CP card. 3-4-1. It's a little weak, but however, the ability is so amazing. It's on play, and then later on when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's cost -1, then KO up to one of your opponent's cost. So if like one of the best case scenario for even using this is to KO stuff like on the maybe the turn it can come out. So for example, you're not going to get 3 Dawn until your second turn, no matter what, even if you go first or if you go second. So let's go over a quick scenario about the best case scenario, right? So assuming on turn 2, let's say you go second and you get the Enies Lobby. That's really good because then next turn you can lower something by 1, and then next turn you have 4 Dawn. You're gonna go ahead and go. You're gonna play. So you want to play this last. You put out your Rob Lucci and you attack somebody. You attack somebody, you lower someone's cost, you lower someone's cost again, so that goes down by 3 total, and then you put out the Brook for this turn, and it lowers it by 1 more, so you can KO a 4-drop on the same turn that you play this guy, and he did nothing but go out, and then next turn, you can do the same thing when attacking. So Brooks are extremely powerful. They're really, really, really good. I recommend using them in any cost reduction deck. They are really amazing. So we're running 3 of these early game cards. Next up, it's your bread and butter. It's going to be the Rob Lucci's 4-6-0, so no counter. On play, place 3 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Now, this does not have to be a CP. I think they really messed up they should have made this. You had to do CP. But pretty much KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 2 and up to 1. So because you have Rob Lucci, because you have Enies Lobby, and because you have a lot of other low-cost cards, there's ways to split the damage, the cost reduction, so this can get off. And you can bring it back to life using Gecko Moria. You can use Spanion to bring it back. If you really need to, you can revive it, or you can bring it back from the graveyard from Rebecca and then play it from her hand later. It's really good for just getting so much value on the board. So we're running 4 of these because they're just such a really good card. Next up, it's another KO card. This is Kaku from CP9 OP03 561. On play, return 2 cards with CP. See, this is type locked. I really wish this was type locked. And then trash from your trash to the bottom of your deck. Then KO 1 character that's 3 or less. So one of your medium case scenarios. Once again, Rob Lucci effect. Your leader effect, and the stage effect to lower it down by 3. Then you can KO a 6-drop with this character. And that's without any of the other cost reduction, so it's really good running 3 of these. Now it's time for the changes that we've been making. This is an OP08 card. This is Jack. This is my own alternate art I made right here. 7-8. This character has 4 costs permanently, so it's always going to be an 11. This is really good because there's a lot of green cards that mess with, you know, like resting certain characters, making sure they can't attack. Same thing with blue for bouncing back unless you're using red rock. And of course, good for black. They have to lower this thing cost by a lot to do anything. So basically, the turn that you play it, activate main every single turn, you can rest this card. Draw 1 and trash 1. This is really good because there is an okay amount of 0-cost counters that you might not even want to use anymore. And then KO up to one of your opponent's 3 or lower costs. We already talked about this. Very good scenario. You're gonna be able to KO a 6-drop for the most part, unless you want to use more resources. So this is a very, very good card. Unfortunately, not searchable, but that's completely fine. We're running 3 of these late game KO cards, and then for your late game bring stuff back, of course we have the staple in almost every single black deck. I really wish they leader locked this. So 8-9 Gecko Moria OP06 on play, choose up to 1 4 or less and up to 1 2 or less character, play one of them and play the remaining rest. So there's a lot of combinations and practice to do with this deck. It really depends on what you have in your trash at that time, but some of your best sort of combos here is maybe throw out a Rob Lucci and then bring back something that can maybe lower the cost if you need to. So there is a room here for Tsuru to come out, which is really good. You could also bring back your Helm Eppo, which is the other 2 costs, which is why you want to use it here. So pretty much 8-drop, your leader ability to lower down by 3 total, plus the Enies Lobby, plus Helm Eppo for another 3. You can KO a 9-drop this turn. It's going to be pretty sick. Oh, actually, wait, what am I talking about? Because Rob Lucci KOs a 2 and a 1, so there's a lot of different ways to combo it out, but you need a bunch. And if you ever brick it in your hand, once again, you can use Jack to get rid of 1 if you want. There's other things to do. So these are your attackers. 1 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's a lot of just removal. Every single attacker here is removable. I mean, technically, you're gonna get removal with this, so it is. So these are really good. Okay, next up is your blockers. So we're going to start with the Rebecca's. These are from OP05401. Innate blocker. On play, return up to one character other than Rebecca with 3 to 7 from your trash to your hand. So you can grab almost everything. You can even grab this Jack if you're in a safe spot and you know what, you don't really need the effects that turn. You can grab him back. But basically, you grab it, and then you could play 1 to 3 or less black character from your hand to the field rested. Now remember, it doesn't have to be the one you grabbed from here, so you can grab one for a future turn, and then this turn you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, search. I'm gonna go ahead and lower the cost. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Brook to KO something. So Rebecca's so good. The only thing that's a little bad, it's a zero power. A lot of easy ways to get rid of it, but the abilities are just really good in general. So running 4 of these, just a way to bring things back from the graveyard and summon things. Good value. Next, we're going to be running 3 of these blocker Sabos. On play, your character cannot be KO'd. Your characters cannot be KO'd until the start of your next turn. And of course, the other ability, which is super important, is draw 2, trash 2. But basically, both abilities are super solid for this. The only thing is it can't be search. There's a lot of things in here that's not CP specific that can't be search, but you're going to be sifting through your deck quite a lot, and you're going to be bringing back stuff from the graveyard. It doesn't really matter that much. Honestly, there's a lot of consistency in this deck in terms of that. But yeah, so if you have a lot of like extra jacks you don't need or whatever extra stuff, just, you know, draw 2, trash 2. It's really nice. So those are your blockers. All right, now let's move on to the 2K. So there's another change in here from another OP08 card, but let's talk about this one first. This is Suru. 102. Give up to one of your opponents -2. So you only want to play for 2K or the -2. You never want to use it for anything else. You can bring it back. If you don't have Helmeppo in the graveyard, you can always bring Suru back if you need to lower some cost, etc. So we're running 3 of these. And we're running some Khalifas. This is 442. On play, draw 2, trash 2. Once again, sifting if you really need it. Then give up to one of your opponent's characters, -2 to their cost. You're not using this effect really. It's primarily a searching CP9 and the draw 2, trash 2. You're not grabbing this to do the -2. If you need to in the time, then it's perfect. So we're running 4 of these. And then this is another OP08 card. This is an alternate art that I did before the official one was released in OP08, but the effect is the same. This is Who's Who, Animal Kingdom Pirates, 552. On play, discard 1 card, and there's a lot of cards, once again, that have 0 cost counter that you might not need. KO something that is 3 costs or lower. Best case, once again, scenario, lower it down by 3 during your turn till KO is 6 drop. What's cool is this also has a trigger. KO up to one of your opponent's 3 or lower characters. This could be a pretty fun surprise. KO's like some really low cost blockers or some searchers or whatever. So running 3 of these, so we have a lot of 2Ks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 in this. There's a good amount of defense. There's 7 blockers and 10 of these. Lots of ways to bring things back. And finally, let's move on to the events of the deck. We have Ice Age. This is the new alternate arts. This is 1/0/0 everything. Main, give up to one of your opponent's characters -5. If you really need to KO something crazy, say you don't have anything but these 2, and you have 4 mana, you can use your leader ability down by 1. Use this to down by 6 total, then do 7 total. These 2 cards can kill a 7. It's insane, and then you get a body on the board afterwards. I love Ice Ages, but I'm only running 2 because it's not really needed. You know, only when you're going to kill gigantic things, because for the most part, you're going to be able to KO things within the 6, 7, 8 range pretty consistently. But this is for, like, if you don't have any combo pieces and you need to just go crazy, and the trigger is really good, it's another KO 3 or less. So, wonderful. All right, 2 of these. Now for the other staple of this specific deck. Tempest Kick, 1 cost. On main, draw 1 card. Then if your trash is 10 or more cards, which is going to happen a lot, honestly, depending on how long the game goes, you might even be close to decking out. You got to be careful. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost for the turn. So this is good because it's a -3, and then you're going to be able to cycle it out. So it's really, really, really good. Then KO on trigger up to another 3 cost or lower character. CP9, so it's searchable for the most part as well. Running 4 of these. Really, really good card. So these are the events of the deck. And that is the whole deck that we're currently running. Because of the crazy ban that Sakazuki had as a leader, there's been a lot of experimenting with other black decks. People are using Gecko Morias, they're using Peronas, but for the most part, I think Rob Lucci and Law at the moment of this recording is completely destroying everything, and for a good reason. I really think that Rob Lucci is one of my most favorite meta leaders to play. It's just really fun, and I love how the ability is very consistent. You always want to trash stuff from your hand because you're bringing things back, and it's not like you're using any more Dawn to do so. I think the only thing that's weak about this is everything is kind of weak in general. Like, this is a 4 count, this is a 4, this is the only like good stat line 6, and then you have a 5, 6. But then you have your Jax and your Gecko Moria to absolutely help you win the late game. The inclusion of Jax in this deck is amazing if you haven't used these. You have to rest it for sure. But if you're using it to KO stuff, especially the turn that is dropped, and they have to use some stuff to get rid of it, because this is a persistent effect. I kind of like to think of this as maybe the 8-drop kid, where if he's rested with a Dawn, they have to attack it. This is pseudo like that. They can't really KO it with like cost effects. They're gonna have to attack into it, otherwise they're going to continuously get this ability, and you get the trash one and get one. This card is so good in a lot of decks, but in this deck it's just amazing as well. So that's why the Jacks are super important. But we're only running a couple of them because we don't want that many, you know, 0-cost counters. There's a decent amount, and you might be wondering why I'm not running the 0-cost discard to give you plus 3,000 counter. I try to make this deck a little more consistent, so I don't have to with more defense and counters in general, which is why I'm not running Hinas. I'm instead running these Helm Epos with stuff. So if you actually want to go over here and count how many actually 0-cost you have, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 11 character cards that are dead in your hand. However, there's a lot of stuff to help you draw and trash. So check this out. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have 4, 5, 6. We have 6 cards to help you draw and trash. And if you want to use these two, we go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards that actually you can trash stuff from your hand to do things. So that's why we're running it. So you can mess with the ratios a little bit. I guess if you play a lot and you don't see any slobbies, you want to grab more there. Maybe you do want only 1 Helm Epo. You might not need 2, but I do want to see it. But yeah. In this deck, I used to run just like 8 2Ks, but I decided, hey, I want even more just for the lack of defense, and I think it's working pretty well. So yeah, that's gonna be it for my OP08 deck. If I have any more really crazy changes, I'll go ahead and make another video here and explaining what has changed, etc. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. OP07 just came out in English, but this is the OP08 upgrade stuff. More OP07 leaders with upgrades coming up soon. Thanks for watching, and I think by the time you watch this video, we're gonna be around 1,000 subs, and I don't know if I'm gonna do anything crazy special. I might just do like a big rush of throwing out lots of deck profiles for you guys as a big thank you. So yeah, we're almost there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.